Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Kim, aka the Booker Harlot, and today is Vlogmas Day 3. It is Sunday, December 3rd, and for those of you who are regular subscribers, thank you so much for joining me once again. And if I am new to you, welcome. I am a reader and a knitter. I mostly follow literary prizes. I cover the Booker Prize, the International Booker, the Women's Prize, and next year I will be doing Canada Reads as well. And in terms of knitting, I knit all things. Now for Vlogmas, I'm going to be reading from the Hingston and Olsen short story advent calendar, and I will be reading from day 3 today until December 25th. And I am also unwrapping Polka Dot Creek yarns, their blanket advent calendar, and you will see my knitting as it progresses. So let's get to the unveiling. So for day 3, and look at this lovely design. Today's short story is called Shouting Wenky by Peter Orner. And Peter Orner is the author of 2 novels, 3 short story collections, and 2 essay collections. He is the recipient of Rome Prize and a Guggenheim Fellowship. And he is the chair of the Department of English and Creative Writing at Dartmouth College. He lives with his family in Vermont, where he's also a volunteer firefighter. So kudos to Peter. He is a new to me author as well, which I totally enjoy from this collection. And today's yarn, it's day 3, and this is from Polka Dot Creeks. They are an independent yarn company out of Alberta, Canada, and Hingston and Olsen is also a Canadian company, and I love supporting fellow Canadians. So this is a lovely shade of Christmas green, and today's yarn is called avocado, one of my favorite things to eat. So I won't be knitting from the Polka Dot Creeks blanket pattern that comes with this advent calendar, but I will be knitting the Stephen West's hibernating blanket, and you'll see progress very shortly, I promise. So let's get to reading, and I'll report back to you with my thoughts. So Shouting Wenky is a very complex short story, and it starts off with a bang. So I'm going to read you the first sentence because I thought it was extremely compelling. And the first sentence of anything, be it a short story or a novel, is very, very important. So the first sentence reads, Georgia Shoemaker shoved open the window and aimed with both her not-so-little hands on the gun, like she'd seen in the movies, knowing that though she'd never fired a single shot in her life, she wasn't going to miss. So who's not going to want to continue reading with that kind of opening? So a little bit about the story. It is told in first person, and it is set in Chicago. The main character is telling the past story of her parents, who are now have been deceased for quite some time. And it's about their parents' marriage and their divorce, and essentially, no spoilers here, but this does turn into a revenge story. Now, it starts off with their dad being a mayor, and being a mayor for years, and his whole identity being taken up with his role in his mayor. He brings this gavel around everywhere and bangs it in restaurants and doctors' offices, and even on the 2 sisters' bathroom door if they've been in there too long. Now, the mom is a teacher, but she is also his campaign manager, and she is fiercely competitive. But once he wins, she doesn't want anything to do with him. Now, once the divorce happens, the father becomes very complacent. And the way that our mother enacts her revenge is she becomes a campaign manager for Chuck Winky, who also happens to be their next door neighbor. Now, things get even more complicated because all of a sudden the dad becomes very complacent, and Winky is the exact opposite of her dad. He is rich, he is powerful, he is enigmatic. And there is a very short sentence or a short paragraph in here about the debate, and the only subject that is touched on in this very first half of a political revenge tale is women's rights. And the father, freshly divorced, says, I don't really care, and just shrugs it off. But Wanky wants to make every woman head of every business, put them in the president's role. So, of course, Wanky wins. And after he wins, the father's identity changes. And the two sisters really struggle to balance out their lives, as any kids in the middle of a divorce would. So it turns into a revenge story when the father renames the family dog as Winky. And then it turns into a neighbor war. And this is where it goes back to the beginning with Gretchen, because this has become an urban myth. And I won't give anything away, but a war starts between her father and Gretchen next door, whose husband is at the same time dying. So it takes an interesting twist at the end of the book, in which it moves from politics to the realm of love, and it deconstructs urban legends and how closed communities don't take the time to learn the individual's realities, which is sad. And there is also an interesting theme of gun violence, because guns play a big role in this short story, but in a very absurd way. So Gretchen, in the opening of this book, is ready to fire a gun that she's never fired before. And even the policeman who shows up after this murder happens is missing 3 toes because he shot his own toes off. So I thought that that was very intriguing. Now, this is very much a short story that can be read over and over again, and I think that you would get different things, more complex things, each time you read it. So that's it for day 3. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are so inclined, please like and subscribe. There is also a Patreon link if you would like to put a tip in the tip jar. It's a website in which people can tip their creators. And I will leave you with a shot of the lake. There's still open water right now, but sometime in the next couple of weeks while I'm filming Vlogmas, the ice will come in. So thanks again, and I hope to see you for Vlogmas Day 4.